Hello and welcome to Ethan Cox and Ben Berman's Scotus project, Baker versus Carr. Now I know we all have to sit through 15 of these, so I'll try to not waste your time too much. So a little background information before we begin. In the early 1900s, we saw a dramatic increase in the urban population in Tennessee. The legislative districts stayed the same, however, even though the population people were pouring into the city. In 1960, two-thirds of Tennessee's residents were being able to elect were being elected by one-third of the state's population. This continued on until one man, the hero of all city folks, Charles Baker, an urban citizen, sued Tennessee Secretary of State Joseph Carr for equal representation. Now let's get on to the constitutional questions and issues. The first question: does Tennessee have to create the legislative districts according to the current population? And the second question is, does the Supreme Court have the authority to order Tennessee to carry out creating new legislative districts? Now on to possible outcomes. We believe, me and Ethan have created a possible outcome. We believe the Supreme Court would vote in favor of making Tennessee create new districts, not retreat, remap the districts because based on current populations, because this would protect the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. Another reason that the courts would want to do this is because it would give them more power over the political process of district representatives. Now onto the official ruling of the case. The case was taken on to the Scotus, and in a 6-2 decision, the court ruled in favor of Baker versus Carr. The Supreme Court reversed Culgrove because the claims were not derivative of the gratuity clause of Article 4, but rather the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. The impact of this ruling: Baker versus Carr opened the door for judicial review of the legislative process. This cause laid the groundwork for the development of the one person, one vote principle. By 1966, only 4 years later, 46 states had redistricted their legislative districts. This cause helped pave the way for equal representation throughout the United States. Now let's talk about the related cases. The first one is Culgrove v. Green. This happened in 1946, or about 16 years before Baker versus Carr. 3 voters sued Illinois for not redistricting since the 1900s. They said that a rural country of 1,000 voters in an urban country of 100,000 voters having the equal vote was unconstitutional. The ruling was a 3-4 plurality that this was a non-judiciable question, meaning that this case was outside of the court's judicial authority. I want to briefly mention why this case only had 7 people voting on it, and that is because the Chief Justice Stone had just died before this case happened, and another Justice Robert Jackson, was too busy serving as the chief prosecutor in the Nuremberg trials. The second related case is that of Westbury versus Sanders. In 1963, Mr. Westbury lived in a Georgian district with a population of 2 to 3 times larger than any other district. He realized that his vote was not being counted as much as everyone else's vote, and he believed that it was unconstitutional. So as a result, he sued the governor of Georgia, Mr. Sanders, in Mr. Sanders. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court acknowledged the violation of the 14th Amendment and voted in Westbury's favor. I just want to briefly mention that the Sanders we're referring to is not Bernie Sanders. For ways to remember Baker versus Carr, the best way to remember it is the phrase "people want power." This is shown because originally the Supreme Court said they had no authority in this case, but 16 years later they overruled themselves, saying that they do. This shows how people want power, and this power gave them political influence. Another way to remember this is the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.